There we go. Now we're live. Fantastic. Heather, you have any fun weekend plans with the family or anything?
I don't. I'm just answering Instagram questions right now. It's crazy where I started out like teaching people about RV parks, and then like it kind of morphed into all real estate and then business in general. And now all of my questions are more lifestyle related. Like this morning, the questions are like, did you remarry your ex-husband? Like, no. Who does that? And like, are you still dating now that you're married? Like, no.
Now they're all into your personal life now. That's fun. Yeah.
Super weird. I can't imagine the people who like actually have a ton of followers, like the kinds of
I mean,
questions.
you've got a crazy following too, but yeah, like, it's awesome to see. It's awesome to see how, I mean, anytime I get on there, like you're giving great stuff. Like it's awesome to see how people are really like, it seems like super into it, super engaged, like really interested. So I love the mission, love what you're doing online. So
It's so crazy. But yeah, Fridays are fun Fridays in my family. So the kids have something planned for this afternoon. I don't know what they picked out, but
nice.
after this, that's where we'll be going, wherever that is. They've been picking movies like every week for a couple weeks. So
Any good ones?
Not a movie this week.
Yeah.
How about y'all?
No, I was gonna say we've had I know just with the holidays and stuff we've been doing, I mean, nonstop. I mean, we try to hit like, the 12 things of Christmas around here. So it's like every light display or meet Santa or anything like that has been it's been really, really fun. In St. Louis, we've got like a lot of fun free family stuff here. So between like the zoo and a bunch of other things, botanical gardens, all that stuff, they do a lot of like Christmas time, light displays and stuff. So
dude, the zoo we're in Knoxville part of the time and Florida the other. The zoo in Knoxville is like $20 a person or something. You're spending a fortune to go to the zoo if you have a family. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what we're like. One of the biggest. It's us. We're actually outside of Washington D.C. We have the most free, family-friendly things like that. Like the zoo is free here, and it's one of the best in the nation. So yeah, we use that all the time.
Yeah, nothing's free down here. I feel like this has got to be one of the most expensive places to live. Dude, I got my new property tax bill, and the property taxes on the house I live in are $42,000 a year. Shut up. Like, and the insurance went up this year, so the insurance is $1,400 a month. So between property taxes and homeowners insurance, and you haven't even paid like I live close enough to the ocean.
Like another mortgage. Yeah.
But yeah, like maintenance is real because the saltwater eats everything up. So like, where else in the country is warm all year? I should be considering.
That's so brutal. Yeah. Oh man. Well, for everybody else, thanks for joining us. I don't mean to start off with venting there, but hey, I'm there for you. But I know this has been an awesome week. This has been really, really fun. I appreciate everybody on here being flexible. In terms of I know we are going to be a 3-day challenge. We stretch it to 4 days. So today's our bonus day. We get hanging around on a Friday, which is awesome. Like great way to kick off the weekend. And you'll have to let me know what you guys do for Family Fun Day, Heather. And if you find any good family movies, I know my kids. We saw Mario earlier this year. They're very into it. So.
Have y'all seen Blue Beetle or Trolls? They were both really good.
No.
Yeah, we saw both of those. Those were great.
There we go. Keep them coming.
Yeah.
Love it. So fantastic. I love to see everybody who's on here. Again, we had a ton of people turn in the homework, so that was awesome to see you guys get out there. And I just want to start off by patting you on the back and saying, hey, you made it. I know it's been a fun week. Like you guys are dedicating yourselves to really, again, investing in yourself. Like you're showing up on a Friday morning at the end of the year. Like not many people are putting in the work this time of year. A lot of people are, especially in the real estate world. Like I know a lot of people might say, oh yeah, I'll wait till January. We talked about that throughout this week of like, it's an easy time to kind of mail it in right now. Where I think a lot of the high performers, a lot of people who are getting ahead for next year and making next year the best year they've ever had are investing in themselves and taking action right now. So congratulations on that, guys. You made it through. We've had a variety of things we've had you through. We've had 3 live trainings. So if you missed either of the first 2, we're going to send out a replay after this as well. So make sure to pay attention to your email and you'll make sure to get that. And even if you didn't do the homework, you didn't follow through on everything yet, that's okay. Like use this as a launch pad for an amazing, 2024. So make sure to save those links. I'm going to send those out afterwards as well. Again, Matt Camp over here with DealMachine. Our mission is to give everyone the power of real estate investing using technology. And that's our goal with this week, is to really share we showed off the tech and we showed you how to use it, but we also shared that playbook of exactly what to do, regardless of if you're using DealMachine or not, to be able to find motivated sellers in your market, around particular assets that you're interested in. Heather talked about finding that buy box, kind of that checklist there to kind of look for as well. Yesterday we talked about how to take that list, how to take that buy box and reach out to those people, how to really get in touch with them in the most effective way possible. We went through and again used the playbook that we've seen work over 10,000 times using DealMachine. Like we've had over 10,000 deals done in every single state. We're really proud to say we're the highest rated and most reviewed app out there to go find off market deals. And we even gave you guys a marketing commitment plan here yesterday. And I'll try to share that link again in the chat here in a few minutes. I think it was dealmachine.com/challenge homework. Should download it there for you. But that link was your homework yesterday. It was getting out there and taking what you learned, taking those strategies that Heather and I went over, and really putting that on paper. And just the simple act of doing it, whether it be on your computer or you printing it out and putting some words to it, putting some commitment there to it, is going to statistically lead to you sticking with this. Like you have a much higher chance just by committing to that of sticking, with your plan and going forward and taking action and being consistent and making next year the year that you do make this change, and then, get started now with that. So, love to see that. Heather, did you get any feedback on those plans, or didn't know if you heard back from anybody? I know we've only had, less than 24 hours since we did that, but
I have not had any feedback yet. I have so many questions in my DMs right now related to nonsense crap.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I have not read any of those messages yet. So if you messaged me, I will get back to you before the day is over. I got to get through the nonsense first.
Yeah, you're getting grilled on your personal life in the meantime. So good luck with that. So I know David's had to deal with a few things too. So and he's not even close to what you're looking at.
Part of it.
So we went through that yesterday. And again, for the people who filled that out, the people who are on here live, you've got a chance to win that grand prize today. So we'll have given away over $2,000 worth of free stuff by the end of this. Make sure to stick around till the end for that grand prize. You got to be on live. We're going to try to keep it into a tight hour here for you today. So make sure to stick around for that to try to win that grand prize by the end here. So love to see people in here. While we're on here too, feel free to use this as a chance to jump in the chat and say where you're based out of. This is a great networking opportunity too. I know we try to kick that off, on every call as well, and just have you all have a chance to team up with each other, meet each other. And if you're here, I mean, again, you're investing in yourself. You're going another level above what most other people are going to do. So like the people in here are the go-getters. They're the doers. They're the ones that are actually taking this serious and want to make a big change for 2024. So I know I'm based in St. Louis myself. I'll put that in the chat here. Anyone based here, always looking to connect with people locally as well. But feel free to use that as a great way to kind of connect with each other. And you might need a future business partner in the chat here. We've seen that happen, time and again too. So awesome. And so I know today we're going to be getting into the live training. I'm going to do a recap as well of, just briefly what we covered day 1, day 2. Day 3 today is all about, as you have built your list of properties, built your list of assets, started to reach out to those people. How do you go from here? How do you build systems and processes that stick with you long term? There's a few really fun tools inside DealMachine that can help you think about, making offers and closing deals and tracking those leads and all of that. So we're going to be talking about that from here. Heather, before we get into that, is there anything else? I mean, we've covered in the first couple of days, like around why now is such a great time to be getting into this, from a timing perspective. Is there anything else you wanted to reiterate or touch back on there before we get into the main training here today?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate for y'all to not give up on this, because sometimes when you start mailing these mail outs out and you start doing the cold calls, you are going to get no's. There are going to be a lot of no's before you get a yes. But just think of each of those no's. I'm sure you've heard someone say this before, but remember those no's, you're just one more no closer to your yes. Yeah. So you've got to keep up and don't give up when you get 5 no's. You haven't gone through and analyzed nearly enough deals to have gotten a yes yet. So don't give up, keep going, and you will get that first property, second property, whatever it is you're trying to get. Trust your process and keep going.
Love that. Yeah. I mean, if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? So it's, every time you get through another no, it's another barrier that other people have quit and you can keep going and stand out from the rest. So love to hear that mindset. I will mention, if you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, if you're on social right now, pretty soon here, I'll turn off the screen share because we're going to be getting into the software itself and showing individual properties and kind of showing specifics on there. So we're not sharing that on social. If you just go to that bottom link, that hbchallenge.com, register there, you should be able to join us live on the webinar jam right now. And even if you can't, you will be getting those replays on there too. So, that's just the free challenge email list you'll join, and you'll be able to get all of the replays from this after that today too. So if you're watching on social, make sure to go to that hbchallenge.com link at the bottom right there too. So, nice. We've got Jake was in St. Louis for 25 years. Fantastic. Yeah, Jake would love to connect, but everybody in the chat, love to see the networking going on this morning, and people are ready to go. So awesome. Let's dig right into this. So quick recap, day one here. So the kickoff earlier this week was all focused on, again, building that list of motivated sellers. And then, we came out, Heather, is there anything, I know yesterday you did a great job of kind of talking through what the buy box meant. Is there anything there you just want to kind of reinforce for people as well? Of like what to look for in an asset, or, and again, that could be a whole nother challenge all in itself, but maybe a couple of cliff notes would be great too.
Yeah, just make sure that you have done your buy box. We talked about yesterday how Brandon Turner, when he was building Open Door Capital, which has close to $1 billion in assets at this point, narrowed it down to 6,000 properties in the entire United States. Now, while you're not going to narrow it down across the entire US, make sure that you have chosen your market, your budget, like what's your price point? Maybe it's an age of a property, or maybe it's an asset class like we're talking about. Whatever that is, make sure you have actually written down, whether it's in the notes on your phone or on a piece of paper. Maybe y'all should see my desk. Everything's on paper for me, and in file folders and things like that. I'm old. And make sure you have it written down. You're reviewing that regularly, and you're really targeting the deals that are what you are looking for to buy, so that you're not wasting your time or your money.
Yeah, my handwriting is just too bad for that, but I 100% agree with everything you said there in terms of how, making sure to think through that in the right way. I know, Heather, I know you've got quite a few groups, and we'll get to that at the end here as well, but you've got your mastermind and everything going on in terms of how you teach people to do that specifically. But, in general, inside DealMachine, once you have that buy box and once you know exactly what you're looking for, you can replicate that inside the technology using the over 150 data filters that we were showing off, inside the text. So I'm going to remove the screen share on social right here for just a little bit. Again, everything I'm showing off, you'll be able to see if you just go to hbchallenge.com. If you want to use DealMachine, the technology itself, it's just dealmachine.com/HB. And that'll get you that free trial of everything I'm showing off here inside the webinar. But when you jump into the software itself, what we showed off, through that first day was showing you guys like how to pull these smart lists of properties and going in and using our filters to be able to say like, yeah, let me use this top filter bar and find properties that fit a particular area. We typed in 40324 zip code in Kentucky as an example, where we pulled that up. It's going to highlight that exact area for you. And then you're going to start to see on the bottom bar right here in real time, here's how many properties fit my criteria. So what we went through day one was to help you come to that really focused niche list of properties, to go through here and start using these different filters on the top bar. Start using the property type filter of, if you're looking, again, single family, not necessarily what we're focused on today, but you could start there. You could start with, vacant land. You could start with a variety of different assets there. We really touched on more niche assets, like clicking on more and typing in property type. We went to this kind of catch-all weird, unusual property type filter. And through there, we were looking at things like RV parks. We were looking at things like mobile homes. I know that was mobile home or trailer park. We were looking at self-storage as an example. So these different things that you can add here, and you'll see that went from 20,000 properties to 226 properties that fit that particular criteria. So we went through this, kind of to start off with, to think big of just, hey, pick a general area, pick an asset type, and then replicate that buy box, whether it be, you've got things like bed and bath to filter by, you've got price ranges to filter by, estimated value. You've got, all kinds of things in terms of, in terms of the property characteristics themselves, in terms of tax information, land information, zoning, rehab, repair cost, lien info, all kinds of stuff. And then when it comes to the seller motivations, like, okay, now that I've got my buy box in there, how do I find properties that fit a particular motivation for the seller themselves? You can click on this quick filter button and dig into this and see like, hey, yeah, show me properties that, were listed and recently expired, or show me properties that, are vacant, show me properties that are free and clear, have 100% equity, no liens or anything against them. Show me properties that, are tax delinquent, that are in foreclosure statuses, that are probate, senior owner, tired landlord, all these different individual motivations that you can jump in here and be able to see like, hey, or any properties that kind of have this overlap with the asset type. And then, these other different seller motivations, like we've got, here we go, tax delinquent properties out of that, whole list. We got 41 that are tax delinquent and fit the, the other criteria that I laid out there. So we tried to show off, how to think through filtering down your list to a more targeted approach. And that was, again, if you want to get more specific on what data points to think about, exactly what are some of our favorite top lists. I know we talked about that day one quite a bit. Make sure you revisit that replay link that we'll send out right after this as well. But that kickoff, that was our main focus, is, hey, fill the top of the funnel with qualified, motivated sellers. And then, that's kind of the lifeblood of this whole thing, is start with those and we'll take action from there. So, Heather, is there anything else from that first day in terms of, different data points to think about, or how to really use this in the most effective way possible before like actually marketing to those individuals?
No, I think you covered it all. It's actually just doing it. I think a lot of this stuff is, once you listen to us for these 3 days, it's pretty self-explanatory, and it's literally just taking action over and over and over again and not giving up on that.
Love it. Yeah. I mean, 100%. And again, like leading with action, regardless of what you're investing in, what the asset class is, what market you're in, out of the 10,000 plus deals done using DealMachine, like the number one thing that we've, heard over and over and over again from our customers is, hey, I led with action. I, didn't know everything before I took that first step, and I learned as I went. And, having some kind of, safety net, having some kind of mentor, having some kind of group to be able to fall back on and talk to about this. Like, this challenge is one example of that. I know Heather's group is one great ongoing example of that. Having somebody to be able to fall back on and ask like, hey, what do I do in this situation? Or what do I do here? That is going to give you way more confidence and really help you in terms of lowering the learning curve on this stuff. But leading with action, getting out there and following through with this stuff, is really that first, common thing across the board of what people point to, of like, yeah, I just had to go for it. And then I, success followed. So, yeah, love that. So that was day one. We did show off a little bit in terms of the property cards as well. Like whenever we pulled a list of properties, we mentioned, like, here's an example. We went through and, picked out a few properties in Kentucky. And when you click into that, you can see more info about the owner themselves, about, the equity around, property characteristics, land info, tax info, rehab, repair cost, all of that. It's really easy to dig into right here. So we were showing that off as well on day one. But don't overthink it. Like, pull that list of leads, and then you can start to dig into that to begin with. So that was the kickoff. Day two, quick little overview on that, was really focused on marketing strategy. And that was that marketing plan that we shared with you earlier. Here, let me pull up that link, that download link for you guys one more time. So that way, in case you missed it last time, this link should work here for you to be able to quickly download the marketing plan. There we go. Made that clickable, DealMachine.com/challenge homework. That's right there for you as well. So you've got that, at your disposal to be able to really go into and kind of recap some of the stuff we talked about, where, and I'll share this on social as well for you guys. It was DealMachine.com/challenge homework. If I can find the chat here. There we go. Perfect. So what we outlined with this was really talking through the most effective and efficient ways to get in touch with these owners. So, you've built your list of properties, whether it be a handful of them or a couple thousand, like just start there. You've got that built, you've got that to take action on. How to actually, take action here is to lead with, again, ideally it's a marketing mix. So you're reaching out in multiple different ways because that's going to exponentially increase the response rate of these individuals. Like if you layer in a couple different ways you're reaching out to them, you're giving yourself a chance where somebody who would answer a phone call but won't answer a text, but may answer a postcard, like you're reaching out in different ways. You're just giving yourself a much higher chance of being able to get that response, get that conversation going with that owner. And then you're reaching out consistently and reaching out in what we call a two-pronged approach, a short-term marketing approach and a long-term marketing approach. And so, exactly what that looked like is getting in there and using things like short-term marketing. We taught you all how to leverage the contact info inside DealMachine. Like inside the app right here, when it comes to short-term marketing, we define that as one-to-one marketing. You reaching out to an individual in a way that requires maybe a little bit more hustle, a little bit more, manual work of you getting out there and doing it yourself. It's not as easy to automate, right? And so like we showed that yesterday inside the app, where you jump into your list of leads and you look at a property and you just click on that individual property and see like, hey, yeah, let me find a property that's owned by an individual, that we can go in here and see like, hey, yeah, here's the likely owner, of this LLC. You can jump in and you can even see other associated contacts. So let me scroll over here. Other associated contacts. We have another likely owner right here, Chad and Karen right here. You get a ton of information right inside the app right here. So normally you would have to, what's called skip tracing to be able to get contact information for that individual. You don't have to do that anymore. That's all built into DealMachine, already included for you, where, normally you'd spend 10 to 15 cents per contact getting phone numbers back. You can look and see, hey, I've got phone numbers right here. This is a phone number that's been active for 12 months or longer, a wireless number for Karen right here. I can easily call it right there. I've got email addresses to reach out to Chad and Karen. When I click on that individual, I can see like, hey, yeah, they've got a little bit of a portfolio going. Here's more information about them. They're a high earner, a business owner. You can see more information around, even like things like occupation group, net asset value, all that to really kind of get a picture of this individual before you call them. And that way you're not just reaching out to everybody completely blind, but you really know more about this person and have really the ultimate cold call prep tool. So that way you go into it with a little bit of a better picture of, is this a senior owner looking to downsize maybe? Is this somebody who owns a little bit of a portfolio and might be looking to add to that or looking to sell it? You kind of get to know this individual a little bit. So that way you don't just go into it completely blind and you can ask better questions of them more quickly on that call. So, it's a great tool for really more targeted marketing, for great, really coming in and making those cold calls, making a direct call or text or email be more personalized, more just a more effective touch point. So it's saving you a ton of time and marketing budget in terms of skip tracing. You've got the contact info right there. That was our first goal, was to, hey, get out there and just take action in the short term through direct contact, through calling, through a text, through an email. And you can even door knock as well. If you hit this drive this list button, it's going to give you direct information to go door knock, which I know Heather covered that yesterday. Like, hey, some assets that's going to make more sense than others. But you have that option inside DealMachine to give you a turn-by-turn navigation guided route to go throughout that area and door knock or leave flyers on the door or anything like that. So that was kind of the short-term marketing approach we covered yesterday. And then coupling that with long-term marketing, where you can go in here and just hit start mail and set it and forget it. I know we talked about that quite a bit yesterday, so make sure to rewatch that if you want to get a full rundown of how to design custom postcards, how to design custom sequences of postcards, how to track and budget for your mail. But you can see right here, it's just one click away from being able to send mail and be able to see like, yeah, this postcard's going to go out every 21 days. It's going to send it to him 6 times. I can change the template really quick and easy to be able to put in even things like handwritten letters or different postcard styles and things. And that way you can just do all these little individual things to be able to give yourself the most opportunity possible to get a response back from that individual. So we talked quite a bit yesterday on how to use long-term marketing, how to automate your marketing, how to just set it and forget it and be able to get in front of that person and stay top of mind over time. So that way, if they're not ready to sell right now, that they think of you 3 months, 6 months, a year plus down the road. And, we've had people doing deals literally years later. They get a call that said, "Hey, I've been getting your postcards, I'm looking to sell." And, it's a long-term nurture strategy there. So, Heather, on the marketing front, what else do you want to cover there? I know you gave a lot of really good nuggets yesterday.
I couldn't reiterate what you just said more. Like, people will call you, and don't be discouraged by this, because there's definitely ones that call you like the week they get it. But there are ones who call you a year later, 2 years later. I don't know if they take these things and put them on their refrigerators for when they change their mind or what it is they're doing. But you will get calls like randomly throughout the months, and it's not necessarily a direct reflection of like how many you sent out that month, which is why it's important to have that sequence we talked about. I was telling you, I start with sending them out for 6 months. They get one a month from me, because you never know exactly when it is that. It's from RV park standpoints, you have like 3 bad guests in a row and you're like, F this, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, they have those weekends where, or, like 3 different things at the park break and it's going to be $100,000. And they're like, okay, where's that contact info for that person who keeps asking me if they could buy the property? It's just, you want to be easily findable and present in that moment of weakness, however we want to word that. Yeah, Jake saying I'm gonna put it in the stack and call when I get around to it months later. It's the same thing. So make sure that you're keeping that up and not giving up. It's kind of like everything else we've been saying. You just have to keep going.
Yep. Yeah, it's a numbers game when it comes to that. So that's the whole goal, is to establish contact if you can through these variety of marketing methods, and then stay top of mind throughout the months. And, again, like being able to go through this, especially this time of year when, again, people are mailing it in more easily. Like, they're waiting until their New Year's resolutions. Like, now is a great time from a marketing perspective to really stand out. So, let's see here. Katya said, when you send a postcard or letter, what would you recommend to indicate? Do you have any advice there first, Heather?
When you send a postcard or email, what would you recommend to indicate as my contact? Phone number, email, mailing address. When is the most effective in your view? So it's going to depend on the age of the person. So older people aren't going to email you. We do have people write on us stuff and mail it back to us. Because again, I'm mailing out thousands of these, y'all. So I would put a telephone number that has a great voicemail, not some crazy personal voicemail you have on your cell phone, or something like that. So use your telephone number, because we get text messages also. But I would have phone number and email address. I don't know that mailing address is necessarily important, because you're going to have a return address. My return address on mine are our PO box that is registered to my LLC, just in case they look any of that up. But I have phone number, email address, and then the return address on which you're mailing out, I use my PO box.
That's great. Yeah. So agree with all that. For the phone, we see a lot of people use like Google Voice or some kind of tracking number.
We use Ring Central for it. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So
that's
some kind of number
I use that for my other businesses. So
nice. Yeah. So I mean, I definitely recommend that as well. Really give you a better chance of tracking that, of prioritizing those calls coming in, all of that. And then on the email address side, we've seen people, and again, it's going to be probably, demographic dependent, in terms of who's going to actually do this, but, or respond to this rather, but we've seen people do QR codes on there, where it's a QR code that if they scan it, it can, you can set it up to send an email to you, or be like a form to fill out, or, there's a variety of like creative things you can do with that, that I've seen people have success with that too. So, good stuff. So great questions, guys. We'll try to get to all the questions in the chat here by the end as well. And so the new stuff today, I'll try to give you a crash course on both of those things. The new stuff today, what I really want to take you from here is understanding what to do from here. Again, like, how to, build a great list of leads, how to market to those leads. How do we continue to stay in touch with them to build a relationship with them? How do we make sure that we never have a lead fall off our radar, that we're always tracking those conversations, that we're always building on them, that we're making every single one of those touch points count? And then how do we close deals? Like, how do we make great offers? How do we use, there's tools in here that you can be leveraging to make great offers, to really get to that next level in terms of coming in with confidence to a conversation, because you've got data to back up things like comping, things like, we've got a really exciting little assistant in here too. So I'll show off all of that here for you to really make sure that you're getting the most out of the tech. Yes, but also be long-term successful, because you've got the right systems and processes in place to do this over and over again and make sure that you're always staying organized and always doing what you're saying you're going to do when it comes to talking to these sellers. So when it comes to the actual technology itself, there's essentially, which Heather, I forget, do you use any other like more heavy duty CRMs, or are you using DealMachine mostly for that? Or
I use DealMachine, and then whatever we're doing with it, I export it into HubSpot and use HubSpot for my CRM. But again,
nice.
I use HubSpot because I use it for all of my other businesses, and I don't like having like 7 or 8 different things. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm having a little bit of internet connection issue up here, so hopefully you guys can hear me okay. But I'll load this up when it comes to the leads themselves, if my internet will work for me. So, what I'll go through here as this is loading up, I'll mention like, the leads tab as we go through, we've again pulled that list of properties. We've then also gone through and showed off, exactly how to market to those sellers. When it comes to actually keeping in touch with them, it's so critically important. And this is like the boring stuff, right? That might seem more foundational and more mundane, but long-term really, really adds up. Is going in and using a CRM, a customer relationship management process and software, where you're going and following through and you're taking notes. You're every conversation you're having with a seller, if you're able to go in and just simply stay organized by taking notes on what you talked about, taking notes on personal information that you learn, taking notes on ways to be thoughtful to them, taking notes on the situation they're dealing with. So that way, anytime you go back and you have a conversation with them, they're calling you, or you have an appointment with them, or what have you, you can just simply really revisit those notes and look and see like, hey, yeah, here's where we left off, and here's the main problems they're dealing with right now that I can help solve, and here's the issues I can really dig more into, and here, I can ask about their kids, I can ask about this coming up, I can remember this coming up. Like, it's just a great way to stand out. I know, Heather, you talked about like sending gifts to people. That's amazing. Like, I'm sure you've like taken a note of, oh yeah, this person likes, XYZ. And, do you have a good example of like a good gift you sent? I love that.
I was telling you the one yesterday or Monday, Tuesday, whatever day it was. We've been sending the guy the liquor that he likes. And this is an extreme case, y'all, because he owns the property next to me and I desperately want it now. Because I'm getting ready to build a swimming pool and would put it in a totally different place if I owned both properties. And so I've been sending him more elaborate gifts like local homemade macaroons,
Awesome.
and the liquor that he likes. What else did we send? Some tickets to a local event, just like all kinds of stuff trying to get this guy's attention. But that is like a unique case, like sending that extreme
above and beyond, for sure. But yeah, but I mean, like, that's a great example of even just remembering the liquor he likes. Like, you at some point you took either a mental note or actually wrote it down and really stayed organized around that. And this is something that as you talk to more and more sellers, like, it's going to become more and more important to do this, to stay organized and to take notes and make it really simple and easy to just kind of follow through with these sellers. So, going through this, I see what we did here. I've logged in on a different account. If I go through, and here's an example right here, pulling up this other account here. So these are going to be probably single family homes that I'm pulling up now. If I go through and be able to just click on an individual property, David's probably got a million leads on here. This might take a minute. Going through this, when you click on an individual property, you'll see there's an activity button that when you click into that, it's going to make it really simple and easy to just take notes and add tasks to your individual property. Like, when you click on an individual address, this activity button right here, you click into that, you hit add task or add note. And that way you can just stay organized with your notes. When you add tasks right there, it's good. You can put like, hey, yeah, follow up with the seller tomorrow, or go on this seller appointment tomorrow, or just make it really, really simple and easy for yourself to just jump into the app every morning, look and see what tasks you have to do next, and have that go with that task manager that's built in, and be able to always execute on that next step. Really simple and easy. So staying organized by going through and looking at your leads, being able to add notes and tasks to them, just kind of build that muscle memory of just consistently, as you follow through and follow up with people, always having that next step ready to go. And I never leave a sales conversation without establishing it very, very clear, like, hey, yeah, I know you said you had to think on that. Like, when should we talk again? And, oh, let's book another time. Like, always making sure that that next step to build that momentum and keep it going is in place, booked, and ready to go. So that way you're not trying to chase them down after that last conversation. This is the way to do that consistently and make sure that you are really just, again, following through with what you always say you're going to do. So that, is big within the software. I'd say, leading into these conversations too, as you talk to sellers, just coming in and, when to even like come up with these notes, I would say just asking really good open-ended questions of them of, asking around, motivations to sell and timeline to sell and condition of the property. And, if you do a really good job of kind of information collecting up front, by the time you get to price, that price is going to be less of a weight because you're solving other problems for them. And, you're bringing so much value to the table that it's not going to be all about like, hey, what's the price? What's the price? Like it's, obviously a lot of people can be, that can happen in terms of the conversation. But if you do a great job of uncovering those motivations and solving those problems, like you're building more and more value. And really the main key is, even if you don't know period exactly what to say, how to pitch yourself like this, it's really about just asking great open-ended questions to have that seller conversation. So Heather, do you have any tips there on like having those conversations with sellers, to get to this information, like great questions to ask and how you approach those?
I think it's like dating. You have to you start out with like fluffy, non-offending questions that build like a baseline of a relationship. And then you get into some of the harder stuff. Like you can't call these people a lot. They aren't investors. They are literally mom and pop operators that love their property like it's one of their children. So, and that's going to be the case with a lot of niche asset classes because these people have spent their whole lives there. They're not just collecting a check like they might be from like a small multifamily building for somebody who owns 10 of them. So you start out with like getting to know them, like literally, and asking them like fun questions about their property. How long have you owned it? Just really nice, fluffy stuff. My mom is like the queen of this because her emotional intelligence is so high. She's like best buddies with these people by the time she gets off the phone. One lady tried to give us a donkey because she was selling her park and she loved the donkey and didn't have anywhere to take it and thought mom would take good care of the donkey. We're like, we can't have a donkey. There's nowhere to put a donkey. like you literally become buddies with these people, right? So you have to think about it's even when you hear people talk about becoming a good networker, you can't just like talk about what it is you need from them. You have to like provide value and be helpful and engaging for these people. So just remember, like, would I say this at the beginning of a date? Like, would I ask them like, hey, can I see your tax returns? Like on a first date? Probably not. Right.
That's a great way to think about it. I mean, really, and in the end too, a lot of those questions coming down to just like truly caring for that person, like truly showing that you are trying to help that person in terms of whatever problem they're looking to solve. So yeah, I think like being an active listener, asking big, more of the fluffy, open-ended questions and learning about them personally, and then moving into learning about the individual situation they're dealing with, like you said, and being delicate about that, but try to do that in a way that in the end, like if you approach it with that mindset of trying to figure out how to help this individual, I found that works, so much more than anybody coming in just like, hey, yeah, what are you going to sell me your property for? Let me lowball you,
Exactly.
So to show this as an example, the task manager I was showing is this top right corner. Like you can, when I click into that, you can see here's what tasks I have coming up, and you can just make it really simple and easy to kind of follow through with those right inside the app there. So that's kind of your first option here. The other thing I want to share today too, before we would get to the, again, we're going to wrap up with that giveaway for everybody. I want to share there's kind of two tools specifically inside the app that can help you really have that conversation with sellers more confidently and really come in and just be leveraging data as effectively as possible to make great offers. And so inside DealMachine, when you go into the app right here, when you click on an individual property, again, the activity button is what we were talking about earlier about adding notes and tasks. You also have mail, which we covered, on day 2. We have info, which we covered on day 1. And this comps button is what you can cover on, is what we want to cover today too, is jumping into this and seeing let me look at properties that fit this individual property that, really go in line with things like here, let me filter this out. It taps into MLS data, and you can come in here and say show me properties that fit, the last 3 months, that are, square footage range of plus or minus, 15% is what I recommend. Obviously it's going to be dependent on the asset in terms of how you're using this. Plus or minus 15 years in terms of the year built, default range. If you're looking at, again, these are a lot of like single family metrics that I'm showing you, but just knowing that you can come in and look at comps and really adjust, how long ago it was sold, how big that area, that property is, year built, bed, bath, range, all of that. And just know, like on the go, you've got really, accurate comps right here where you can jump in and even use the draw tool to say like, hey, yeah, let me look at properties that fit just this particular individual, area, and really make it simple and easy to be able to tap into this data and see in real time, hey, here's my estimated value based on, these properties that are nearby. And you can even click into this, and a lot of them you'll be able to get MLS photos. Let's see if we have any for these two. A lot of them, you'll have some MLS photos there to be able to compare and contrast those last sold properties too. So the comps tool, really, really helpful inside DealMachine too, to really give you that confidence where if you're using these other things to get in the room, if you're getting out there and building your list of properties, you're marketing those sellers, now once you're in the room, having a great confident conversation around what that property is worth, you can really back it up with data, this mobile friendly comps that again is up to date, in terms of tap into MLS information and, being able to use that just, really, really quickly and easily. So that's a super powerful tool inside the app that comes with all, with DealMachine. And then finally, last thing I want to show you guys here is this bottom, left corner. You may have noticed this little purple orb. that's I don't know, Heather, I don't know if you mess with this at all. But if you're on DealMachine Pro and up, you actually get access to Alma as well, the AI assistant that we built in. So this is really cool. So if you click into this, again, it's going to be super helpful when you're in a really dense area that's got a lot of other properties around you to be able to tap into and use data for. But think of like ChatGPT. If anyone's used that, put that in the chat. Think of ChatGPT. Mix that with our prompting. So us coming in and really sharing a lot of real estate knowledge to prompt the AI assistant to be extremely real estate focused. And then also use our off-market property data that you wouldn't get anywhere else and put all that together where now you've got this AI assistant inside the app to be able to say like, oh yeah, analyze this property for me. Oh, I'm considering wholesaling this property. And it can go in and say, well, yeah, well, based on this, here's the, max level offer based on the loan balance, based on the rehab data we've got, based on all these different factors. And you can kind of have a conversation back and forth and says, hey, yeah, this could be a good offer. It could be a good wholesale deal because the max level offer is bigger than the estimated loan balance right here. Like it'll actually break down those numbers for you in real time. And you can do this on the go in the app, be able to use this to analyze deals as well as things like, hey, how do I get in touch with the seller? And it'll go through and give you some ideas on exactly what to do, how to, what the text message should look like, what the direct mail should look like, help me write an SMS message. And you can go back and forth and actually have a conversation with it and say, hey, I don't really like that SMS. Write me 5 SMS messages as other options. And that way you can go back and forth and really use this as kind of like your little deal finding assistant inside the app there too. So wanted to make sure to touch on that just for a second here. People are really using it for, analyzing deals and helping speak to sellers more effectively and more confidently. But that's something, Heather, I don't even know if I had shown that off to you before, but
I hadn't seen it. How new is the feature?
It's been the last few months. I mean,
I haven't noticed the little purple thing in the bottom when I'm playing with it.
Yeah, you can turn that off and on where it can pop up automatically or not, but it's been a really, really like the people who have really dug deep into that have gotten a lot of value out of it. It's cool. Like some people, it's not as big a deal for them, but if you really kind of get a little more creative with it, we see some people do some cool stuff with it. So there we go. So fantastic. Is there anything else when it comes to comps? I know I kind of breezed through some of this stuff, but I just wanted to make sure people knew that was at their fingertips and could use that too. Obviously the comping process is going to be a little different for those bigger assets, but it could be a whole nother, deep dive session. But is there anything else, Heather, you wanted to touch on in terms of kind of lessons learned there?
Again, my lessons learned have been the same thing I've been sharing with y'all the last couple days. Like, make sure you're sending not one mail out and thinking you're going to get a result, that you're sending a series. In the mail outs themselves, customizing them and sending different ones each month so that they look different. We talked about this yesterday, and Matt was showing you some examples of it. And then if you really want to be great at it, pairing those mail outs with your cold calling is what's going to be your home run and be most successful.
Absolutely. Love that. So great stuff. I see some good questions in the chat. I'll try to get through the giveaway and everything for you guys here to get to those questions in the chat as well. I do want to reiterate, this is one more chance to be able to use DealMachine throughout this thing. Let me put up that for you guys here. We talked about like the 7-day free trial. Here, let me pull that up for you. That's just dealmachine.com/HB. That's going to get you the 7-day, using this 7 days free, try all this out, really revisit those replays and be able to make it really easy to go build a list of leads, reach out to them, and then close deals using these different tools here. With that, you're going to get unlimited contact information, no more skip tracing for you right there. Save you, again, we have people spending thousands of dollars a month just on that alone. So that's a massive, massive value for you. And then, you get 50 free postcards too. So we're just trying to give you as many free bonuses as possible to just get out there, take action on this, and start to build momentum going into the new year. If you're looking at this and you're like, yeah, I'm going to make next year the year that I'm going to do deals, I'm going to fully invest in myself and want to get the best deal possible versus what you would get through our website normally, we do have a special we're running through this challenge where it's dealmachine.com/HB special. And I'll put that up here for you as well, where if you go in and click on, here we go, that for you, it's going to give you DealMachine Pro, which accesses all features that we've shown throughout this entire thing for you. The Alma AI assistant, everything built in, plus the unlimited free skip tracing, the 50 free postcards, all of that already for you too. That normally would be over $1,800 worth of stuff, over throughout the year. This is going to be $990 so 45% off that year-long value for you, built in right there for you, versus going through our website. So if you're going to commit to this for more than a few months and you're like, yes, I'm investing in myself using technology to go land your first deal and many after that, hey, here's the best place you're going to be able to do that versus going through our website. So wanted to make sure you guys have both of these up. I'll leave this up for just a second before we get to where to take this from here. Heather, I see you been helping out in the chat there. Is there any other questions in the chat you wanted to call out before we get to the giveaway and everything?
Let's see, I think we have answered all the questions that are up so far. So if anybody has questions, this is like a unique opportunity that y'all have access to both Matt and I both. Like neither one of us typically do private coaching and things like that. And you've got a wealth of knowledge between the two of us. So if you have questions, nothing is dumb. We've all been there at some point. Make sure you add those in the chat so that we are able to help you with whatever it is you need as you're going through this journey to get you to those goals you're setting for 2024.
Love it. So, and again, here's my email too. Feel free to consider me a resource in terms of, if we have like a very specific question around DealMachine, even if I'm not the one being able to answer this second, I'll be able to have my team looped in for you guys to be able to help out there. So, all right. So you may have completed the homework. You may not have. I know this has been a sprint this week. We have plenty of people who have been investing in themselves but didn't have a chance to take action on this. That's okay. Again, to win the grand prize giveaway right here, you have to have completed the homework, but now you have the knowledge to act on. You've got that playbook of what's worked over and over and over again. You have everything you need to be able to keep rolling from here and make this the best year you've ever had. And if you've been talking forever, if I'm going to get into this someday, well, hey, especially with the news of like, hey, rate hike or rate decreases are coming. These are all great news for us to be able to get into it right now, get into this right now, and be able to jump into a market that is going to be exciting for next year for investors. Well, hey, you know what? We want to first start off and celebrate you guys for taking action. So great job just being here this week and again, investing in your knowledge, investing in yourself. For everyone invited here, Heather, do you want to kind of talk about everything that you do on your end before we get into this giveaway here?
Sure. Okay. So for the ladies who are on the call and have been here with us for the challenge, we have a special offer for you. If you want to go to the next slide, Matt, some of you are familiar with my women's mastermind and some of you aren't. This slide's a little bit old. We're getting closer to 300 women at this point who are all interested in entrepreneurship and real estate investing and one of the biggest things that got us here is that as I started to grow, I know I saw somebody who was a broker in the chat, and I started making more and more money, and my brain started being consumed by these thoughts of entrepreneurship and business, and I didn't really watch reality TV anymore, and like I was having totally different conversations than the people I was surrounded by. I was feeling really lonely. And I couldn't figure out how to find other women to have these kinds of conversations with. So I created the Society of Entrepreneurial Women, and it has been amazing, y'all. More than 20% of the women make over $1 million a year. And I don't mean they're taking in that, they're taking home that. And the reason that's such a great thing is because we have beginners, we have people who are in the middle, and we have people who are seasoned investors and business owners. And everybody comes together, and through the collective genius of all of us is able to help each other. And not only are you learning the kinds of things that we learned today, you are part of it's being held accountable. Part of it's being able to find the resources that you need. I was getting texts while we're on the call because somebody's trying to refinance a commercial deal, and they're struggling because their local bank isn't doing these refinances right now. And so they're asking all the girls for the recommendation. They just got like 10 phone numbers for commercial lenders that will potentially help them. So those referrals are a huge thing. Some of them are doing deals together. They're sharing money from their 401ks and their IRAs to be able to invest in each other's businesses. And one of the greatest things is that you are put with an individual coach. And we have coaches who specialize in anything from social media to different asset classes of real estate. We have a health coach. So whatever it is you're working on, we have somebody who's meeting with you one-on-one every month, helping hold you accountable and taking those next action steps. Besides that, there's weekly education sessions that have all of the imaginable topics. We just finished one on raising private capital, as well as the commercial lending and out-of-state investing. Those were our sessions this week. We also have Bible study and book club and a life and relationship therapist. So tons of benefits of being in this community of women who are all helping each other strive to be their best self in all areas of life.
Love that.
And then Matt's going to go to the next slide. And for y'all being on here today, we have a special offer for you to combine the mastermind with our next retreat. One of the most fun things about the society is we all meet in person twice a year and have these retreats that are this perfect mix between a conference and a girls' weekend. We get to listen to some amazing speakers for a couple hours, and then we do super fun activities like you would on a girls' weekend. So schedule that call and get some more information from my team, and you'll get a free ticket to that next retreat, which is coming up in March. So we can all meet in person and hang out.
There we go. Yeah, I will say, we're going to a Bigger Pockets conference. I saw you there, and you had, a lot of your community was there. I was incredibly impressed by the people that were there for that and were part of your group. They had amazing things to say. Like it was really, really cool to like meet some of the members that you've been working with. And I know I've spoken to that group before, and they're super sharp individuals, like very much have that kind of go-giver mentality, trying to help each other. And like you said, I mean, great for just relationships in general. Like it's great to make friends there.
That event that you're talking about, we ended up with over 400 women in person at that event in Orlando. It was totally insane. Yeah. Really crazy to meet that many women who are investing in person.
Awesome. So if you want to follow up, I will share out that link as well with the rest of the replays. So that way, if you guys are interested to take action on that, please get in touch with Heather on that. I know I put the link in the chat here for it to make it easy for you too, but I wanted to make sure that, again, these last 3 days are a launch pad to get you on that fast track and to really invest in yourself and really, again, make next year the best year you've ever had. And don't wait till January. Like, now is the time to invest in yourself. Get started strong now, and going into the new year, you'll be already set up to have a killer year. So,
Matt, I think we got a couple DealMachine related questions in the chat. I don't know your ability to show this live, but they're having trouble filtering for a state or filtering to find the RV parks. I know you showed us that. Is that something we can go back to?
Yeah, let me do just so that way people don't for the giveaway really quick. So people, in case we, I know we only have a few minutes left here. I'll do that really quickly, and then I'll answer any questions that we've got here, if that's cool, and then can make sure people at least see that before we jump off here, if that works.
Perfect.
Awesome. So really quickly here before we get to that, finally time now. We've been through this whole thing. we're doing a live grand prize giveaway. So everybody who put in that work, if you're on here, how many people we have on currently live? We've got 22 in the webinar jam. That is awesome. One of you is going to win this thing. Everybody who turned in the homework is eligible. I've been paying attention to my email. I've been tagging you all in my email here. So I'm going to be pulling up my email like I did yesterday, doing that random number generator to be able to come up with a winner for this. But it's going to be $1,000 plus prize where our winner is going to get an entire year of DealMachine completely free, completely covered. You've got everything you possibly need to go out there, find leads, be able to market to those sellers and close deals right there in terms of technology. It comes with that unlimited free contact info. So again, you don't need to skip trace anymore. You've got that all built in right there for you. You can come in and just make it really simple and easy to take action on it and just make calls, text, email, all of that right there for you. The contact data as well, that demographic data to know who you're talking to before you give them a call. That way you can ask great questions and come into that conversation prepared and ready to go. That's all included inside DealMachine. And then you're getting $100 in free postcards. Like it's $100 in direct mail. That covers, depends on the mailers you're sending out, but anywhere from up to, almost 200 free postcards. You've got a ton of things you can be doing with that and ways to reach out. Like this is, ideally the deal in a box, right? It's you getting out there to go and have everything you could possibly need to go out there and make these deals happen. So that's all locked in here. I see you got to be on live. So you got to jump into the chat and say you're here when you win. I'm going to keep going until we have somebody who wins this thing. So if you can give me another drum roll, please, Heather, and go through this. The winner is, let me pull this up. Need just a second here. All right. Winner is Amanda Berry.
Oh, she was talking earlier.
I think, yep, I see her name on there.
Yay, Amanda.
Jump in the chat. Here we go. Amanda Berry.
She was talking about, I think she's in Phoenix.
I think you're right. Let's see here. I know it's going to take a second. Usually there's a little delay here. So Amanda, if you can jump in the chat here, hopefully you can hear us. I saw she said good morning. Here we go. I'm here. All right.
Yay, Amanda.
Fantastic. Congratulations. Awesome. Amanda, there we go. Yeah, if everybody could jump in, give her a little congrats here. Again, I know, the real prize for this thing is going and doing deals, right? Like that, the technology, super helpful, but it's just that it's a tool to help you go make things happen. It's a tool to help you get out there and follow through on this playbook we've given you. And we've had over 10,000 deals done using these exact action steps. So everybody on here, you've got the exact playbook you need to get out there to go take action. Amanda, congratulations. We're going to follow up right after this to give you, hook you up with the prize here. Everybody else on here too. We're going to be sending out the links to the replays. We'll send out the links to get in touch with Heather's group. Consider me a resource directly, Matt@DealMachine.com over here. I can stick around for a minute or two to answer some questions for you, but it's been a really, really fun last couple of days. And Heather, I appreciate your time too. I know this is the second one of these we've done, and it's been a great group. So
I agree. It's been fun.
All right. Let's see here. You say there's a couple questions here before we sign off. Let's see. You had somebody asked about filters, right?
Yeah, you had two questions about filters. One, how can I search the entire state? And then the other one says, I filtered on weird and unusual property types and didn't find any campgrounds, RV parks.
Yeah, Daniel. So it's all based on county data. So if you can email me direct, I'll have my support team look into that to see, where that's getting caught up in terms of your filters right there. Again, we've got like hundreds of different asset types that are pretty niche in there, so you'll have a lot of opportunities to be able to filter out different things. But I want to make sure that our team can help kind of handhold you through that individual property. So if you can email that Matt@DealMachine.com right there, Daniel, or Darielle, sorry, I need to zoom in a little bit here, and happy to help. Let's see, where was the other one here? The other filter question.
From Eric, Matt, how can I search for the entire
here we go.
state?
The entire state. So you can go up to county. So we don't have statewide, we have countywide. But what you can do is if you put in individual counties, you could, do each of those at a time, or do each of those all in one search. I don't think I don't think we can zoom out as far enough as statewide yet, Eric. So email me direct as well, and I'll have my support team kind of walk through exactly what all you can be doing there. So, and then here, I do actually want to share this out. We have virtual office hours too. So if you want to get on and ask really specific Deal Machine questions, our head of customer success goes live almost every single day. So even his next one's in 2 hours here. So if you want to jump on there with Ryan, he is fantastic at answering really specific questions when it comes to Deal Machine too. So, you see any other questions there, Heather? I don't want to run too far over on people.
I think that's it.
All right. Fantastic. So congratulations again to Amanda, to everybody for just getting through these last 3 days, really challenging yourself. If you want to get involved with Heather's group, again, it's woman.heatherblankenship.com/hello. I'll put that link in the chat one last time for you guys here. And Heather, do you have anything else you want to sign us off with here?
Thank y'all for coming. I'm so excited for you. As you're going through Deal Machine and you're finding deals and sending mail outs, doing your cold calls, tag Matt and I on Instagram. We'd love to see your progress and celebrate you along the way. And I hope all of you have a really great holiday and enjoy the rest of your year.
Absolutely. Yeah. Happy deal finding, everybody. And again, when you land that first deal, get in touch with me. We'd love to feature you on our YouTube channel as well. We've had hundreds of people on there, and we'd love to have you next. So Heather, thanks so much again, and have a great holidays, everybody.
Talk to y'all soon.